Final chapter. Amanda Cho looked like she'd seen a ghost when Malik breezed into her office, helped himself to a chair, and extracted a pack of cigarettes from his inside pocket. He was polite enough to offer her one, too. She declined with a stiff shake of her head. "Surprised to see me?" He couldn't resist a luminous smile. Cho's lips pressed into an unsightly line. "Of course not, Agent Malik. Why would I be?" "Oh, because the funniest thing happened in France." He snapped his fingers, and a tiny flame caught the tip of his cigarette. "Now, if I had a nickel for every story that involved my misadventures in France, like this one time I was at the Moulin Rouge with 3 of their finest dancers, a case of scotch, and the Sultan of Malik. Can we get to the reason you're here? Sometime today would be preferable." Cho's shock and awe had quickly dissolved, giving way to irritation. He wasn't sure which amused him more. "All right. I know you're busy as director of DARPA, and you have limited time." He took a long, lingering drag and exhaled through his nostrils. "I have some issues with one of your new techno-alchemy bullets. The freezing effect does not last nearly as long as advertised, and you should really have a chat with R&D before letting agents take them into the field. But we'll circle back around to that later." Amanda made a dramatic show of waving the smoke from her line of sight. She didn't fake a cough, though he wouldn't have put it past her. "So," Malik carried on, waving his cigarette in a flourish, "I had the loveliest chat with your boy John during our brief but eventful jaunt into the field. It seems that you asked him to— I'm not sure what the American term for it would be. Rub me out?" He made a gun with his hand and did a bang-bang gesture at his temple. "You could never prove that," Cho said, swiftly and matter-of-factly. Malik's smile returned. "I find this refreshing, don't you? We're at the stage in our relationship where you've realized it's pointless to lie to me." Cho shifted in her chair. She gripped the armrest so tightly her nails left grooves in the leather. "So here's what happened," Malik said, and he proceeded to fill the director in on all the gory details, with a heavy emphasis on the gore. Seaford shish kebabbing his eyeball with a switchblade, using their new techno-alchemy device to look into his past, and then, of course, the unfortunate moment when he gazed into Medusa's eyes and rapidly materialized into a 200-pound statue. It was an unfortunate side effect of making eye contact with that particular artifact. It was probably why Malik had discovered it at the bottom of the ocean next to a few dozen human-shaped statues wearing rusted scuba gear. Amanda was visibly skeptical. As a woman of science, she'd been tasked with blending magic and weapon tech, and Malik always suspected she was a lot less keen on the mystical portion of her job. She preferred magic when it could be quantified, dissected like a frog so that every working part could be weighed, cataloged, and thoroughly explained. Magic as a concept was insane to her, anti-reality, so Malik explained the situation on her own terms. "You see this?" Malik reached out and plucked the letter opener from her desk, and, with the cigarette dangling from his lips, asked if she was ready for a magic trick. He opened his palm and plunged the letter opener through. Ta-da! He pulled the blade out, and then the tiny opening stitched back together. She raised her sculpted eyebrows. "I survived the Medusa tablet," Malik explained, "because I can heal. The artifact works like the Medusa of legend, if such a creature ever existed. One glance, and you become a very surprised-looking statue. However, I could feel my body actively repelling the spell when I laid eyes on the tablet. My cells fought off the hex faster than it could take hold." "I see," Cho said flatly. "So where is Agent Seaford at the moment?" "In a holding cell. The boys on Sub-Level 7 are working on a counterspell, but it's too early to tell." "And what do you want from me, Agent Malik?" "Ah, straight to business. I always liked that about you, Amanda. First of all, as of this evening, I'm officially Director Malik, so there's nothing you can offer me that I don't have already. I'll have my corner office, my expense account, my Q clearance, which comes with a brilliant new access card. However, I'd like to make something abundantly clear. You suspected that I had taken out Director King right from the start, didn't you?" perhaps you were perceptive enough to recognize me as a killer who would stop at nothing to achieve his goals. Maybe you even realized that I put a bullet in his brain and then used a hellfire enchantment to incinerate every last molecule of that putrid land whale. Malik pitched forward in his chair. So if you've figured all of that out, it means you're smarter than I'd given you credit for. And since you just unsuccessfully sent one of your lackeys to... He made the finger gun once again, this time clicking his tongue to add a humorous sound effect. What do you think someone like me would do in retaliation to someone like yourself? Cho leaned back, chest heaving. I don't know. I'll let your imagination run wild with the possibilities. Malik twisted the remains of his cigarette into the surface of her desk. I'll let myself out. Malik took the elevator upstairs, got in his car, and drove to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He flashed his badge to the Secret Service and strolled into the Oval Office. Then he extracted a shiny gold compass from his pocket. It was a replica, of course. He'd destroyed the real Chrysos compass back in France. The gold-plated bauble he handed to the president was no more magical than a piece of mass-produced Swedish furniture, but perhaps the commander-in-chief could use it as a paperweight. He went to all of this effort for the sole reason that Amanda Cho had planned to do the exact same thing, and stealing her thunder might ruin her week. An office is still an office after all. Everyone has their little distractions to cut through the mundane. Sometimes, a little jolt of pettiness was enough to do the trick.